Topic 2. Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay.
Now we were talking a little bit before we started recording. This is interesting for me because this is the first of the games that we've kind of had in this segment that actually never played. As we touched on a little bit in the last segment, I came to the GameCube pretty late, so like this, Luigi's Mansion, a couple other touchstones from the GameCube that everybody played, I just never did. So tell me about Super Mario Sunshine and why it stands out for you as kind of like the best of the best.
Okay, so listen, Super Mario 3D Super Mario games are I said this before, but if you go to my top 10 list of favorite games, there's probably 3 or 4 of those are the 3D Mario games. Super Mario Galaxy, I had that point where like I said last topic, where I was like, I think I like this better than Sunshine. Super Mario 64 was my first game ever, and I love it, I adore it. But I think Super Mario Sunshine was there for me at that perfect time where I already could play games by myself, and I could understand what secret things were, and by that point I didn't really speak English very well. But games are what got me to learn English. I learned English all by myself.
Okay.
Because I'm a big
Congrats
boy.
on that.
Yeah, and games are like really big part of that. And so, Super Mario Sunshine, like where can I start that game? I I do believe maybe Super Mario Galaxy is the better game out of the two, and maybe even Super Mario 64. But I was heartbroken when I found out that how the internet sees that game. Like, a lot of people hate that game. Like, a lot of people do, and be like, yeah, it's such an ad game. And I'm like, dude, no, it's so good. That game is so incredibly good. And I can't really argue when somebody says that 64 is better, because if you look at it, if you objectively look at it, then yeah, probably Mario Sunshine feels a little rushed in some aspects that maybe a Galaxy and 64 have a little bit more polish on. Because here's how Mario Sunshine works. Mario Sunshine has a lot of different. Has its hub world, right? Delfino Plaza, which, by the way, people hate on, and I agree. It's not as cool as the castle. There's not a single hub world cooler than the castle in history of gaming of Mario 64. But Delfino Plaza is really cool. It's really cool. It has so many little secrets and so many ways to get into different extra levels, bonus levels, and so many bonus stars. It's such a good hub world, and it definitely doesn't. I feel like it doesn't get as much love as it should, because it's definitely better than Mario Galaxy's hub world, and a hub world is well done when you want to spend as much time on it as you do on other levels. When the hub world is only what you use to get to the other level, it's okay, it's not fun. But when you're no, I want to explore this. I want to see what happens if I go to the basement of the castle, or oh, hey, I've never been to the back of that rooftop before. So that's what Sunshine is. Sunshine is really a lot of exploration in rooftops and stuff like that hub world. And there's a lot of secrets in it. There's mini games with very random mini games with, if you throw a pineapple to a certain basket, it gets you a extra red coin. And I just really do love it. And I think the Sunshine game is so different from Mario games because of how it is, because you can compare Super Mario Galaxy and 64, and even though they are totally different games, in its core, it's pretty similar. It's the only difference really between them is that Mario 64, it's a plain 3D world, and in Mario Galaxy it's just little planets.
Yep.
But Sunshine totally switched all that up. It gave you this water rocket. It gave you flood, and that was totally different, because now it's not about jumping over here and not falling. Now it's about, okay, how can I use this hover mechanic to get me from here to here? And there's a lot of people hate it because there's no long jump in the game. That doesn't exist. No long jumping, which is why on the like on the Switch's reveal, there's like a cool. They show the long jump specifically. It could be like, here it is. But yeah, there's no long jumping in that game. There's a new move that was only used there. It's so fun. It's basically like belly sliding. I don't know if you've seen gameplay of the game or anything, but basically Mario
Yeah.
goes on his belly, and you can like press the button again and again and again, and he just jumps, and you can go for like miles like that. And that game is just so special to me because where I was saying that some design choices are definitely not as good as other games. That, for example, to reach the final boss battle, it's not that you have to have a certain number of stars. It's that you need to complete to get to level 8, I believe, in each one of the worlds. You need to complete level 8 in each one of the worlds so you can unlock the final battle. And the final battle is very disappointing. It's not that good. But the way it's structured is that basically each world has, I believe it's 9 or 10 levels, and they all are in the same order. So level 1 is going to be a boss battle, right? You're going to get there, you're going to explore that world. For example, there's like an action park, and then at the end of that, there's going to be a boss battle. That's level 1 of each one of the worlds. Then level 2 is going to be a Shadow Mario level, where you have to like go after Shadow Mario, which is Bowser Jr. in like in disguise, and just spray him with water, and until he dies. Then level 3 is always going to be a hidden cave level, which is one where you go into a little cave and they take away FLUDD from you, which is the rocket thing, and you have to basically go through a platformer section that's like a regular platformer with no FLUDD. And the way it does that, it's so smart because people always go like, "Oh, that's the best part of Mario Sunshine." The reason why that's the best part of Mario Sunshine is because the game like gives you the new mechanic of FLUDD, and it makes you feel safe around a lot of platforming things because you can, if you fail, you can just use your hover, and you're so used to that when they give it to you without that, it's so tough. You're like, oh my god, I have to jump from this block to this block. How am I ever gonna ever do that? If it was another game, you'd be like, okay, this seems like a fair jump. But in Mario Sunshine, they throw you off by taking the FLUDD off of you. You don't feel safe anymore because the FLUDD is safe. You're like, oh my god, how am I ever gonna do this? And so those levels are really good, and it goes on and on. Like four, I think it's the second boss fight, and it goes on and on, like red coins and stuff like that, until you finally reach the last level. And once you do that with every world, you get the boss battle, like the final boss battle, which isn't as good of a way to get there because when you look at it from that point, then like bonus stars, shrines in this game, there's shrines, not stars, but you just call them stars, like are worthless because they don't really even count to your like achievement of the game. It's just for pure fun in that case. But still, I get that. Yeah, and like that's a weird thing, and sometimes like the chasing Mario Shadow Mario levels are the least fun out of them, and sometimes it gets repetitive to be like, oh, I'm in stage 5. I know this is gonna be a red coin thing. But it's still, I'm sorry, it's so good. It's so good. The levels are so well designed. It has such a good aesthetic going for it with the whole beach thing. It has so many cool secrets that I think not that many people really looked into. For example, there's a way of, I can't even remember how it's done already, but we figured it out somehow. To get Mario, if you do certain things, and you go back to the first level of the first world and talk to a random dude, he goes like, oh, isn't the sun bothering you? If you go there the first time, he's like, oh, not yet, and you like don't know. But if you go after doing certain things, he's like, doesn't the sun bother you? Hey, I'm gonna help you, and he gives you this Hawaiian shirt and some sunglasses, and you see Mario, his Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses, and the whole screen goes a little darker. So like kind of like if you have the effect of having sunglasses on. And that like doesn't help at all, but that was such a weird thing that we didn't know existed. And we just for some reason bumped into this guy, and boom, here we are. Here we go. We have a sunglass Mario, like totally different Mario. And the game just, I don't know, has so many things that I have memories with. For example, one of the most infamous things in that game is a Pachinko Machine level. I don't know if you've heard or seen about that, but there's basically a place where if you get under up on top of a boat at the same time, and you go under a bridge, you have to wait for it to go under a bridge, and you basically use the highest rocket power up. You arrive like a special bonus map where you have a big Pachinko machine. And how it works is that you're as Mario and you have to jump on a trampoline and go and try to land on places where the red coins are and have to get the eight coins. And it seems like super easy and you're like, okay, I can do that. And it's so hard. It's so hard. You always end up going down. If you go down, just die and boom, you lost a life. If you fall down on one of the slots that doesn't have a red coin, you just go back and end up doing it. But if you don't fall on any slot at all, you totally die. It's really hard. We never beat that. That's one of those things, again, where we went back and back and back and back and back and never beat it. Never did it. But that's one of those games where we play so much that I can really tell you pretty much every single thing about that game. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I didn't beat that, but I know it. And it's just so... There's so many things in that game, I feel like this is probably in the most in any Mario game that are not necessary towards the end goal of beating the game that I think a lot of people missed. There's a whole area on a world. I can't remember the name of the world right now, but it's basically for people who actually do know the game. It's a level where there's like a big waterfall and there's like these big shells and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And there's a whole area to the left of that world where it's just like a big wall, but it turns out if you spray it with water, like little pathways come, and there's a whole, like, I think level, like secret level you can do where you have to figure out how to move along with the wall and what to push and what not to push. And when we figured that out, it was insane because like that's totally to the left of the map. I don't think any star ever requires you to be there, but it's just there because it's there for people to find. And if you find it, in the end, boom, there's a star. It was insane. It was like one of those things was that looking back, you're like, I have no idea why they added this and didn't give anybody like a little bit of encouragement to go there. Because you don't need to go there. You could play the entire game and not be there. It's just, I don't know. Are there better games? Yes. Is Mario 64 better? Probably. The Last of Us is certainly better, objectively better, and it's probably... But in terms, if I'm talking about favorite, about what I feel, this has to be my favorite game. I have,
and that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I just have so many memories with that game. Not only with my dad, because remember that's the bridging point where I started to play games by myself. So my dad used to play games for me, but he started playing Mario Sunshine for me, and then I ended up beating it by myself. And we just play that game all the time. It's one of those that we beat, and then probably like 2 weeks after that, we'd be like, "You want to play Sunshine?" And be like, "Yeah, I want to play Sunshine." And sometimes we didn't even start a new save. We just went on the save we had and be like, "Okay, let's just look around," and be like, "Oh, there's a mini game where if you go inside a restaurant and you have to like destroy boxes in 3 minutes. If you destroy all the boxes, you get a star." And it's like, how that's there, and it's not like in Mario 64 where getting like bonus stars helps because you're like, oh, at least that goes to my count. I'm gonna go get some bonus stars. Here, bonus stars really don't matter, which is not a great design choice, but it also gives the benefit of them being like a little bit more rare to find and to like stump upon, I believe. And so when we went to that restaurant, for example, and I had to destroy the box, I was like, okay, we have 5 more hours of entertainment right here. And recently, I think one of the reasons why that game is, again, stuck in my mind is because my cousin, and this is going to go totally full circle, before I moved to Florida, my cousin was also going to move to Spain. So we were both leaving because we both didn't like the place we were at. We just wanted to leave. So we were both leaving. And one day, we were at his home, and that was like probably, I think it was like the day after we were gonna say goodbye. Like, bye, see you probably in 5 years. And this man and I grew up together. Like, we're brothers. We're not brothers by blood, but we're brothers. We're cousins who grew up together and bonded over video games. And we were like, okay, let's play some GameCube games. And we're like, okay, let's play GameCube. Kind of like we did on the beach apartment I told you before. And we started playing like the Sonic, the KO thing, and we were like, oh, this is so cool, the child thing. We were like, oh yeah, this is cute. And then we were like, do you want to play Mario Sunshine? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I came up with the idea. I was like, let's beat Mario Sunshine. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, let's start playing right now, and let's beat it, like, right now. We're like, okay. And we played for, I think it was, I think it was like 12, no, maybe like 13 hours straight in one sitting. And we beat that game. It was just such a nostalgic experience for both of us, because we hadn't played that game in a long time. We were like, oh my god, I remember this. I remember we couldn't beat this. And we beat it in just one sitting. It was such an amazing thing for us. We finished it probably like 5, 6 in the morning. We were exhausted by that point. But we did it. We beat a game that before took us so long to beat in just one sitting. Because we were now grown up and like adult gamers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like a very... That was an emotional thing. That things went back full circle for us then, and we looked at it at the time, kind of like, oh yeah, let's why not? Let's fuck around with this. But I think the both of us look at it now like being like, wow, it's such a nice closure for some reason, because we moved out of like, we're now in very separate places. We might not see each other for a while because he's going through some stuff and so am I. It's like, wow, and we went back and did one of the things we did the most as children, and we went back and did it again together. And so those types of things are why I would say Super Mario Sunshine is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. I love, like, I had that, like, those friends growing up that I would play with. And there are some that I haven't seen in like 15 years, but like when we do occasionally catch up on Facebook or something, like those memories immediately come like flooding back.
Yeah.
So, like I have no doubt, you know, in whatever, like wherever you go in the next 10, 15, 20 years, like you will have that memory, and it sounds
100%.
like a very, very powerful memory that will certainly stick with you.
Yeah, like, honestly, playing through that game again in one sitting, like, 13 hours straight of just remembering stuff, it was just so incredible for us. And that's why I told you before I want to buy an N64 and, like, play through Super Mario 64 maybe once a year. But I really need to play Super Mario Sunshine again. Because I left my GameCube back at home. I'm probably never going to have that exact GameCube again. And I regret that so much. If I could play Super Mario Sunshine again, I would definitely do that. And I just hope Virtual Console maybe someday, or if not, I'm gonna go on eBay and buy one GameCube and one copy of Super Mario Sunshine. And I want to play that game and beat that game like once a year. Sit down like I did with him and be like, okay, I'm gonna beat this, and be like, okay, I got it. Because the thing is, like you were saying before, which again, this comes full circle. Like you were saying before, there's some things that are just memory. You cannot play a game for a long time and then pick it up and be like, oh, I totally remember this. I remember that the strategy for this stage is just jumping over here. If you jump over here, you're good. And so that's, I think, why we were able to beat it so quickly. Because we definitely died a lot, but we were like, oh, I remember this. Yeah, do you remember that if you did blah 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 blah, you could just definitely go through it faster. And so I really want to... Super Mario Sunshine is one of those games that I wish I could beat and play every single year of my life. And I probably would. And I probably will at some point.
Excellent. Yeah, that's, and that's That's one of those things that I think has been kind of a common thread so far throughout a lot of these like favorite game stories. Like mine was Final Fantasy VI, and that's a game that I revisit every couple years or so. Huge fan of that. Alex plays Persona 4 Golden like all the time.
So good.
Yeah, that's a solid game. Cameron plays Tetris a lot. I don't think Frank has revisited Mass Effect too much, but I think he would if it were like if it got remastered. He would, I think, dive right back into that. I think we talked about that a little bit. And then Kaylee is still playing through her Fire Emblem Fates, but like Fire Emblem just in general is something that she will play as long as they keep cranking them out, because I think that's what she's looking for in her experiences. So yeah, that kind of like need to revisit it. It's not like there can be great games that are like I play this once and then I'm done with it. But I think if it is something that draws you back in time and time again, even after you know all those secrets, and it's just you want to like you're saying, you can identify all that stuff. I can go back into Final Fantasy VI and I know where every little hidden thing is, where I can go to this box and get an elixir, or go to this thing and get a green cherry to cure imp status. Like I know where those things are in that game just because of how ingrained it is in my my experiences. So no, it's I like, having not played it, I'm not going to speak to like if it's a good game or not, but I think in the context of like this is my favorite game versus like The Last of Us, I think it sounds like you've got kind of the more kind of personal story to tell. I mean, you had a great story with The Last of Us too, of like showing that to your dad and experiencing that, but this kind of last hurrah, you and your cousin aren't gonna see each other for some time. This is kind of the send off experience.
Yeah, 100%.
And I envision you guys like reuniting in 5 years and just playing it again.
Oh yeah, I definitely see that. We talk about that all the time, being like, okay, if we don't see each other for like however amount of time it is, we definitely do need to like play Super Mario Sunshine again. And we talk about that night all the time because we didn't realize it then, but it's a very special night, a very, very, very special night for the both of us.
Yeah, and he's in Spain now, you said?
Yeah, he's in Spain.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Any last thoughts or words on Super Mario Sunshine?
Yeah, real quick, because this definitely took a side more to my emotional bond to the game. But the game as a game is so good. It's not like it's a bad game. No, it's such a good game. It's that Mario magic. It's such a fun twist. Like I said, it has so many cool secrets. Gameplay feels like incredible, awesome. It's such a good game in its own that I think it doesn't get as much love as it should, maybe. But I think in future history, maybe give it a couple of years, people will start to look back on that game and be like, you know what, this game was really awesome. Like, maybe after the new Switch Mario 3D game comes, and it's like the Super Mario 64 2, which is what a lot of people wanted from Sunshine, I think people will appreciate Sunshine even more.
Yeah, and I think part of that is it was a victim of circumstance of the GameCube being such a, like, it just didn't sell.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you look at like console sales in the history of Nintendo, you have the NES sold a lot, and then Super Nintendo sold fewer, then N64 sold fewer, then GameCube sold even fewer than that, and then the Wii just kind of surprised everybody and blew out of the water. But the GameCube was until the Wii U their least selling system, so it had the fewest amount of people that could have played Super Mario Sunshine. That's I'm a prime example of that. I played every Mario game up to that point, but by then I had just switched on to PlayStation or Xbox gaming, and so I just didn't. I missed that one.
Exactly.
Came back for Galaxy, but like even on the Wii U, I don't think I played a little bit of one of the
3D
Super
World
Mario Wii U games. I didn't even play. No, I played a level or two of 3D World, but yeah, I just didn't like the Wii U. Didn't resonate with me. Didn't connect with me. Whereas maybe if like you're saying, if if something like this does come to Virtual Console, I'll definitely pick it up now after having this conversation with you.
Awesome. Yeah,
to
that's
experience
awesome.
it myself.
If you ever
yeah,
play it, I'm really interested to see what you think about it, because I think one of the only people that I've seen like really agree with me in this, and I've never talked to him about this, but it's Colin Moriarty. Like, he and
Yeah.
Tim always fight about that because Colin says like Sunshine is better than 64, and I would have to say the same. And I was like, when he first said that, I was so happy to see somebody think about that game the way I did and be like, yes, oh my god, yes, 100% yes.
Yeah. Great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again for sharing that. All right.
No problem.
Let's dive into